Deana Martin speaks out. She confirms what fans long suspected. Most saw Dean as a party animal, but that image was just an act. I have her exact quotes, and I am going to share them with you. We will walk through the career, the truth, and the legacy, step by step. I'm Sarah Reed, and this is Golden American Legends. Dean Martin was the king of cool. That velvet voice, that sly smile. He recorded countless hits and starred in more than 50 movies across a long career. He laughed with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. in the Rat Pack. He charmed the camera in films like Rio Bravo. He hosted a smash variety show on television and made America feel easy and warm. Here is a fast fact to set the stage. He had 8 children. So behind the tux and the spotlight, there was a real home, a dinner table, and a dad. Fans have asked for decades what the real Dean was like once the lights went down. Now we have Deana's words to guide us, and they change the picture in the best way. Which rumor about Dean surprised you the most? Drop it below and let's compare notes. Next up, let's test the biggest myth of all, the drinking life. Here is the frame before the reveal. Dean Martin grew up as Dino, a kid from an Italian family, and turned himself into a smooth icon of American style. He was the singer who made Everybody Loves Somebody a living room anthem. He was the movie star who slipped into westerns like Rio Bravo and made them look effortless. He was the television host who made a country feel welcome inside his living room, week after week. He recorded countless hits and appeared in more than 50 films. He stood shoulder to shoulder with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. as part of the Rat Pack. On stage, he played cool like it was a second language. Off stage, the story swirled. People said carefree. People said wild. People saw a glass in his hand and thought they knew the man. But the public image was only half of the story. There was a crafted act for laughs and showbiz heat, and there was the private life that held the real center of gravity. Deana's voice bridges those two worlds. She takes us from the lounge lights to the dinner table, and that is where the truth lands. Now let's strip the label off the bottle and talk about the drinking myth. Cocktail in hand, he looked cool. Everyone assumed he was a drunk, but behind the scenes, that jug was empty. This is the twist. His kids called the onstage party endage a gimmick. It was a prop, a character beat, a running joke that made the room laugh and relax. Dean Paul Martin put it in one clean line. He said if his father really drank as much as people claimed, he would be dead. That comment hits like a bell. It snaps the myth in half. The truth from the family is simple. Dean saved the drink for the act, and the act stayed on the stage. When the work wrapped, he slipped out early. He wanted rest, golf at dawn, and time with the kids. I know how sticky a pop culture myth can be. I have chased plenty of them through old clips and dusty interviews. This one always felt staged, and the family's words make the seams show. The smoky laugh was real. The buzzed persona was not. That is the line to remember. If the glass was mostly theater, what filled his real nights was the thing fans hoped for most. He went home to be a dad. Movie star or not, he came home. Every night, dinner was sacred. He was not out chasing another party. He was walking through the door by 6 p.m. when his kids were young. Deana said it best. He would be home for dinner every night. He was kind. He was so different from what everybody thought he was. That line is the heart of this story. Dean's life was full of travel and cameras, but family set the schedule. He was a father of 8, and he treated that role like his first job. Even on tour, he grabbed early flights so he could make it back faster. The show ended, the curtain fell, and he aimed for the driveway, not the after-hours lounge. The rhythm was steady. Work hard, go home, sit down with the people who mattered. I love this mental image. The tux draped over a chair, a plate on the table, laughter that was not for an audience, only for the room. It tells you how a legend keeps his balance. It tells you why his warmth on camera felt believable. It came from somewhere true. We know he chose family. Now let's peek inside that home and see the rules that held it together. Dinner on the table at 6, rooms tidy, homework done, no excuses. Deana called him an Italian father, and the picture she paints is clear. Make your bed, clean up, come straight home after school. If you do not want to live by those rules, there is the door. It sounds strict. It was also love, structure, and respect. He taught his kids to respect everybody and be down to earth. just be kind. That line is simple, and it explains the whole man. Fame did not get to set the tone at home. Character did. And when life got complicated, he stepped up. After a divorce in 1949, he took custody of his children from that first marriage and raised them. That choice shows you the anchor he carried. It also tells you why family stories about him feel so steady. I hear these rules and think about my own family. The old habits stay in your bones. They make you show up for people. Dean lived that. The show could be loud, but the core was quiet and firm. So the home life was strong and clear. But how did the public think he was a wild man anyway? Let's go behind the act. Flashing lights and big laughs made it look free and loose, but it was not freewheeling at all. Every move was planned. Deana explained how the bit came together. They put a drink in his hand and a cigarette. Martin had the world convinced with his bad boy act, but in reality, he was a family man. That is a script note, not a confession. The nightclub set needed a hook. The variety show needed a running joke. So the prop glass became a sign of easy charm. Think of Jack Benny's famous violin gag. You knew it was an act, and that was the fun. Dean's act worked the same way. The cool was real. The stumbling was theater. And here is the important part. His career did not ride on that one gag. The work stood tall. Countless hit records, more than 50 films, years of television that still play smooth today. The talent did the heavy lift, not the bourbon. Once you see the craft, the mystique changes. You can enjoy the bit and still admire the man who built it. Now that the stage mask is off, let's meet the person with a few surprising quirks. He is famous for a carefree sound, but his secrets are small and human. Tiny fears, big loves. Deana shared that he was claustrophobic. Elevators felt like little coffins to him. So hotels put his suite on a low floor, and he took the stairs or the quickest ride he could. It is a vivid image. The king of cool keeping his cool by staying close to the ground. Then there was golf. He loved the game like a ritual. He would tell the kids, "I work so hard so I can play with all you kids and play golf." He became a scratch golfer at one point, which means serious skill, not just a photo op. Picture the early mornings, quiet greens, a sweet swing, a dad who left the party early so he could make the first tea time and be back for breakfast. If you are loving this peek behind the legend, hit subscribe and tap like and share with a friend who needs a smile. This is the good stuff. It shows the person, not just the poster. One more truth sits on the edge of meth. There is a rumor that really was real. Let's talk about the nose. Bullseye, he boxed as a teen. He even fought under the name Kid Crochet and had dozens of bouts. In one of those early fights, he broke his nose. Years later, he paid to have it fixed. Fans studied old photos and wondered for ages. Deana settled it with a smile. She said, "He did have one. I have pictures." That is a clean, honest answer. The story adds one more grace note. A generous sponsor helped fund that surgery long before fame took off. Deana later tracked the doctor down and paid him back. That detail feels so Martin. Quiet thanks, no headlines, just doing the right thing. This was not vanity. It was a practical fix from a bruising, hungry time before the spotlight. And it fits the larger pattern. The myths fall away and a simple, good story remains. He worked hard, he patched what needed patching, he kept moving. With the Whisper Network finally cleared, some viewers expect a shadow to appear next, but the family's record does not bend that way. No hidden bombshells here, only pride and affection. On to that point now. No secret diaries opened, no dark tales unfurled, only love and admiration. Deana kept bringing it back to the same truth. He was so different from what everybody thought, and she said another perfect line. No one could do Dean Martin better than Dean Martin. That is not damage control. That is a daughter telling you who her dad really was. She has even laughed about the biggest myth for years. He did not drink that much. That was his gimmick. I still have to clear it up. You can feel the mix of pride and patience in that voice. The family did not write hate memoirs. They protect the good stories and share the right details. That is why their words carry weight. For me, this is where the picture locks in. The admired star on screen, the steady, funny father at home. The consistency between those two roles is the real headline. So, if there was no scandal to expose, what about the people closest to him in show business? let's move to Jerry, Frank, and the circle that shaped the legend on stage. He and Jerry Lewis made a legend together. They split in 1956, and the gossip mill spun for years. But the truth from inside the family is calm. Deana said, "Jerry just loved my dad, and my dad loved Jerry." That line ends the fake feud better than any press release ever could. They found their way back into the same room in the mid-1970s and shared warm public moments again. And with the Rat Pack, the story stays simple. Dean loved performing with Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and friends. The stage chemistry was electric. Offstage, he did not grade people on fame. He treated a driver with the same respect he gave a king. That is the value system Deana grew up with, and it matches the rules we already heard. The worst of it was business and timing, not personal hate. Work is work. Friendships endure. That is how the family remembers it, and it makes sense when you look at the record. With the relationships in focus, the final step is clear. We can now reframe the entire legacy with the right lens. Let's pull it all together. We started with myth-making and ended with a man. The party glass was a joke. The fatherhood was the fact. Knowing that, his art hits deeper. When he sings about love, you can picture the dinner table. When he cracks a joke, you can hear the kindness behind it. The resume glows either way. He recorded countless hits and starred in more than 50 movies throughout his decades-long career. But now, those credits carry more heart. Think of Everybody Loves Somebody playing over a family morning. Think of Rio Bravo with that lazy grin that says he is fully present. He worked hard so he could enjoy life with his kids and still give the audience a good night. For me, that is the secret of his staying power. Cool without cruelty, ease without ego, a man who knew where to be when the lights went down. Deana's confirmation does not tear anything down, it lifts the whole picture up. We have solved the puzzle pieces and set them in place. Time for the last word and a thank you to the daughter who opened the door so gracefully. We have uncovered the real Dean Martin, a man who kept the family together and still kept the laughs coming. Deana's words confirm what fans hoped all along. He truly was the devoted dad behind the party act. Reality beat the cocktails and songs myth by a mile, and that makes his legacy even sweeter. This is the kind of story I live to tell on Golden American Legends. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this episode gave you a new way to hear his voice or watch his films, please subscribe for more deep dives and share this with someone who loves classic stars. Your support helps me keep the archives alive and the legends fresh. I will leave you with one thought to carry into your next listen. Which side of Dean Martin do you connect with most, and why? I am Sarah Reed, and I cannot wait to see what you say in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.